Welcome to our time and place where we come to be with God, to worship God, and to hear the stories of God. There are many things we do to get ready to be with God, but one of the first we do is to light our Christ candle to remind us that Christ is with us. Jesus said that where two or more are gathered, there he is also. And we have our greeting for each other. And right now, because it's our Easter season, the greeting is that Christ is risen. The Lord is risen indeed. Before we hear one of God's stories, we always sing our special song to remind us it's time to be quiet and to hear God's story. Will you please join me in singing Be Still and Know? Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Today's story is the road to Emmaus. This is the season of Easter. The time we celebrate the mystery that Jesus died, but that God made him alive again. This is the road from Jerusalem to Emmaus. Two of Jesus' friends were walking down from Jerusalem to Emmaus. They were very sad. Jesus had died. Why did Jesus have to die, they said. Why did Jesus die? Then someone came and walked with them. And he told them why Jesus had died. Stay with us, they asked. Then Jesus took the bread and he blessed it and he broke it and gave it to them. Then they recognized him. He was Jesus. Jesus was alive. Then Jesus went away. The two friends were so happy Jesus was alive, they couldn't help but go back to Jerusalem and tell Jesus' disciples, Jesus is alive. Jesus has risen from the dead. The Lord is risen indeed. I wonder what Jesus' friends felt like when Jesus died. I wonder why the two friends didn't recognize Jesus when he was walking with them. I wonder what it felt like to recognize Jesus in the breaking of the bread. I wonder what it felt like to go back and tell Jesus' friends that Jesus was alive. I wonder how you feel knowing that Jesus is alive. Now watch as I put the story away. We have Jesus and the two friends. Our plate and cup. Table. Emmaus. Jerusalem. The road from Jerusalem to Emmaus. And our underlay, which is the color white. Remember that white is the color for Easter. That Easter is so special that we celebrate it for 6 Sundays. Oops. Today's story is from the book of Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 to 35. So let's hear the story as God tells it. On that same day, 2 of Jesus' followers were going to a village named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking to each other about all the things that had happened. As they talked and discussed, Jesus himself drew near and walked along with them. They saw him, but somehow did not recognize him. Jesus said to them, "What are you talking about to each other as you walk along?" They stood still with sad faces. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only visitor in Jerusalem who doesn't know the things that have been happening there these last few days?" "What things?" he asked. "The things that happened to Jesus of Nazareth," they answered. "This man was a prophet and was considered by God and by all the people to be powerful in everything he said and did. Our chief priests and rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and he was crucified. And we had hoped that he would be the one who was going to set Israel free. Besides all that, this is now the 3rd day since it happened. Some of the women of our group surprised us. They went at dawn to the tomb, but could not find his body. They came back saying they had seen a vision of angels who told them that he is alive. Some of our group went to the tomb and found it exactly as women had said, but they did not see him." Then Jesus said to them, "How foolish you are! How slow you are to believe everything the prophets said! Was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these things and then to enter his glory?" And Jesus explained to them what was said about himself in all the scriptures, beginning with the books of Moses and the writings of all the prophets. As they came near the village to which they were going, Jesus acted as if he were going farther. But they held him back, saying, "Stay with us. The day's almost over, and it is getting dark." So he went in to stay with them. He sat down to eat with them, took the bread, and said the blessing. Then he broke the bread and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, but he disappeared from their sight. They said to each other, "Wasn't it like a fire burning in us when he talked to us on the road and explained the scriptures to us?" They got up at once and went back to Jerusalem, where they found the 11 disciples gathered together with the others, and saying, "The Lord is risen indeed. He appeared to Simon." The two then explained to them what had happened on the road, and how they had recognized the Lord when he broke the bread. Thanks be to God. Now, as always, we end our time with the changing of the light of Christ, so that the light that was once in one place can now be with us in all places and all times, in our room here and everywhere. Amen.